Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Moksha Rupena Sanstita Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namaha. And here in the Kavacham, Labhate Paramam Rupam Shivena Saha Modate. It is so wonderful. Labhate Paramam Rupam. Labhate to gain, Paramam, the infinite, the transcendental, Rupam form, and by the Shivena, by auspiciousness, by Lord Shiva himself, who is of the nature of auspiciousness, saha, with the grace or with the auspiciousness, and with modate. Modate is it correct? With happiness, with joy, with bliss. And this is our journey. When we take ourselves as a seeker, initially we accept, yes, we are that Parama Shiva, but till we get to that, till we recognize ourselves to be that, we accept ourselves as a consciousness and matter. That is very generally spoken. But in Ishvara Advayavad, it is taken as Shiva and Shakti. And until and unless we do not have the blessing of Shakti, we cannot go and recognize, discover, and be available to the infinite, to the Lord Shiva, to the Shiva. I won't say Lord Shiva here. You can take it whichever way you want, as the Shiva principle. And everything that we know, we don't know, put your audios off because it's echoing, please. So whatever we know, we don't know, what we perceive through our senses, through our mind, through our intellect, everything is nothing but the Shakti, is nothing but the divine power. What is that divine power? That divine power is the potentiality of the Lord Shiva. In other words, she is the Ardhangini of Lord Shiva. She is the, what is that called? In our family terms, the better half. So why the better half? There is a reason. Because without her, Lord Shiva also cannot get his form. It is only by her grace that Shiva gets the form that you know him by. Because originally, Lord Shiva himself is formless, attributeless, qualityless. She gives him form, she gives him qualities, she gives him name, she gives him attributes. See, if you understand this, good, otherwise you can ask questions afterwards. So when we begin our journey, what does the journey ensue? The journey ensues the merging of the Jivatma into the Paramatma. But Jivatma is always the Paramatma. Then where is the discrepancy here? Where is the shortcoming here? Why you, me, everyone who is a seeker are not able to be abiding in that Paramatma that we essentially are? Because we haven't invoked the grace of the Shakti. That is the only reason. We have got caught up in the names and forms. We have got caught up in the relationships. We have got caught up in the world. And we haven't seen that, or we haven't developed that vision that this world, these whom we call father, mother, daughter, sister, brother, husband, children, etc., they are all expressions of that one Shakti. And once she is invoked, once her blessings are invoked, once her grace is there, she is very clear. The Shakti is very clear about her purpose. Her purpose is, when she expands, she offers herself, she offers that expansion, that manifestation at the feet of her divine. She does that expansion only to get the attention of her divine. And when she unmanifests, she becomes one with the divine, one with the Shiva principle. But we don't recognize that. We are far away. We are divorced from that. Even Shakti, we misuse. The Devi, Shakti, we misuse. We misuse for desires. We misuse for Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. We misuse it for our gain. We misuse it for maintaining duality. We misuse it for maintaining the differences, the sense of otherness. We misuse it for acquiring, accumulating things of the world. And in this way, when we do not recognize the Shakti as it is and don't invoke the grace of that Shakti, then the individuality, instead of recognizing that it is of the nature of divinity, of the nature of Shiva, that individuality succumbs to, from sattva to rajas to tamas. It succumbs to the tamas. It succumbs to form orientation. It succumbs to wanting. It succumbs to this world and becomes enslaved. And we all have been trying for so many years, for so many decades, chanting name, going to satsangs, attending classes, studied Bhagavad Gita, I don't know how many, n number of times, different words. Then why the abidance is not coming? This should be our question. Where are we lacking? Merely when we chant, when the last person chanted, Lavate Paramam Rupam Shivena Saha Modate, the moment that said, it stuck in my mind. And I was thinking, okay, if there are no questions, then I will talk about this line. And I just waited. It's just natural. And then Mataji said the same line. जैसे घंटी बज गई अंदर. The nature reflects. See. So this whole nature that is there is nothing but that Shakti. Do we know this Shakti? Have we tried to understand this Shakti? See, who is not other than Shiva? Then how is she functioning? Can we understand the totality of the Shakti? When we read this Durga Saptashati, where she is killing so many demons or asuras, who are they? They are nothing but the Shadvikaras, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Ahankar. She is killing one by one, each one of them. Each one of them is situated at each of the chakras. 6 chakras. 7th one is the Sahasrara. There is no corruption. Till then, you have to keep, and she keeps killing one by one. She is killing them and protecting. Protecting who? As a seeker, she is protecting you, so that you don't succumb to those Shadvikaras. See, a few days ago, I went to someone's place, and there they were doing Shambhavi meditation. And wonderful, beautiful puja they do every day, and very nice atmosphere. But some of the boys sitting there, young boys, and they are going, shaking away their neck and shaking away their body, and is going on, and such beautiful Shambhavi stotram is going on, and it was very meditative. So after I came, someone asked me, Swamiji, why those people are shaking like that? Is it that if I start shaking in my age like that, something will break? Is this something that happens when you do your sadhana, when you meditate on the Devi? That time the answer was, this is the answer that came to me. As long as we are willing the energy to move upwards, as long as we are desiring that we want to push the energy through hunkar or through control of pranas or through concentration, these are all artificial methods. So what are we doing? We are still attached to the world. We are attached to the positions. We are attached to our past. We are attached to our future. We are attached to our relations. And while keeping one hook in the sansar, on the seat of meditation, through various forceful exercises, we are invoking this Shakti. And when we invoke the Shakti, she is not getting free passage. It is like a pipe which has got a kink in it, or there is a knot in it. What happens when the tap is opened? It goes. That's exactly what happens. If our attention is on security, if there is fear, we have not resolved all that, we have not surrendered all that, we are keeping it intact, and we are invoking the Shakti. Shaking will begin. We have the desire, the kama vasana is there, and Mooladhara is also about the anger. Then at the Swadhisthana, if the kama vasana is there, lust for the world is there, etc. Second shaking, more intense. And as we move upwards, the shaking, to some, at least till the Manipur, the shaking will be there. Further on, it also will be there, but of a different nature. Mental shaking is there after that. But bodily shaking, what you see, these people shaking away, jumping away, all that is because the jadatva is still maintained in the mind. The conviction that I am of the nature of Shiva is not there, that this jad is real, Shiva is a possibility. There's still some doubt. And because of that doubt, the jadatva, the prakriti, is still taken to be as a real, and keeping that as real, we are moving. We think this energy is there within us. Someone has initiated us, and we start our journey. See? And then all this shaking and unwanted experiences. And so what is the way then? If we don't invoke the Shakti, Shakti is ever invoked. Shakti is ever invoked. You don't have to invoke the Shakti. All we have to do is think about the infinite. All we have to do is have the bhav, especially when we are chanting Durga Saptashati, Lalita Sahasranam, or any Devi Stotram. What is important is have the bhav of surrender, bhav of receiving her grace, the bhav that she is all that there is, the bhav that she is Durga Lakshmi Saraswati, the bhav that she alone herself created all the Shad Vikaras, and she herself, out of her only the Shad Vikaras came. How can Shad Vikaras be outside Prakriti? Not possible. And then we invoke that total Shakti to cancel, to checkmate, to destroy, to dissolve, to kill, whatever words we want to use, that. That's, see. So what are these? When we say Shakti, if Shakti is all that there is and the whole Prakriti is nothing but the expression of Shakti, then where is my place in it as a seeker? Where is my place in it? Am I experiencing Shakti, or am I experiencing the Shiva, or am I in the gray area? If there is a gray area in between them, where am I? What is my position? Have we taken Shakti to be some transcendental power which is above, which is far away? Have we taken the Lord Shiva to be someone far away, someone separate to ourselves? Have we taken the Shakti to be separate to ourselves? Our problem begins where we take Shiva and Shakti to be objective in nature rather than subjective in nature. So when we take Shiva and Shakti as subjective, what happens? Our scriptures say, you must have studied with Mataji this, that the waking consciousness is called Vishwa. The individual waking consciousness is called Vishwa. Total waking consciousness is called Virat, or Virat. Individual dream consciousness is called Tejasa, and total dream consciousness is called Brahmaji. Individual sleep consciousness is called Prajna, and total sleep consciousness is called Shiva. Is that correct, Mataji? Mataji. Ishvara or Shiva. Okay, okay. I stand corrected. And Virat. Or in other words, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Vishnu is the totality, total consciousness with respect to individual waking consciousness. With respect to individual dream consciousness, it is Brahmaji. And with respect to individual sleep consciousness, it is Shiva. Shiva. Okay? And this was a beautiful discussion that I had today with someone. That these three, there is a father above these three. Who is the father above these three? It is the Shiva and Shakti. And there is one above them, that is the Paramashiva. We are taking from Shiva point of view. So Paramashiva, as if wanting to experience himself, becomes aware of his potentiality. With reference to his potentiality, meaning with reference to his Shakti, he is called as Shiva. That Shiva and Shakti is the Ishvara. That Shakti is not manifest yet. She is avyakta. She is not multiplied yet. Then that Shakti then multiplies when she expresses, her first expression is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. With reference to Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, then come Vishnu, Brahmaji, and Mahesh. And so on, it goes on. See? Now, where is our place in all this? If everything is that, then where is our place? Then why are we chanting Durga Saptashati or any other Devi stotrams or etc. Because we are not recognizing Shakti as it is. Many people want to straight away dive into meditation. It's not possible till you don't take care of the Prakriti. What is the Prakriti for us here? The world, the body, the senses, the breath, the mind, the intellect, and the Anandamaya Kosh. Until unless we don't pass through these, because that is we have been programmed with these five. They have come unasked. And we have to pass these five. We have to resolve these five. See? And unless we don't resolve these five, there is no merging with the Shiva principle possible. Now, if these five are expressions of that Shakti, if these five are the expressions of that Shakti, then who will be able to take us out of these five? We have somewhere wrongly concluded that we are these five. How will we get out of these five? Either we pray to the Lord, when the Lord, he blesses us, how? He blesses that his Shakti will bless us, or those people who want to pray to the goddess, you pray to the goddess, you invoke her blessings, and she starts putting everything in its place. She starts giving you the knowledge from within. She starts, see, just now, what is this, Ganpati, or what was your name, Sundarji? Huh? He said, when you speak, I will get triggered in asking questions. I said the same thing, that if you ask the question, I'll get triggered. Understand? What is triggering? Invocation. That is why we chant 108 names. That is why we chant Durga Saptashati. It is an invocation. So when with intention, pure intention, without wanting anything, without concluding anything, we invoke through these words, we trigger her. She is always present. She is always present. She is waiting for the one who invokes her. And the moment we say these words, Labhate paramam rupan shivena saha modate, she says, oh, here is one who is seeking the bliss of my beloved. Oh, I must help him. See? So we don't have to think about chakras. When you think about chakras, your attention is on desire. Your attention is on willpower. Your attention is, I want to be in control of every step as the energy moves up. You think Ramana Maharshi, who's lying down, his chakras are not open or what? His chakras are also open. Ramakrishna Parvaz, who's continuously dancing and never in a straight position. Or that Neem Karoli Baba, who is always lying down. Or that Shankar Maharaj, whose samadhi is in Pune, I think. Shankar Maharaj. His Marathi serial is coming soon. Watch on Yap TV somewhere. Colors Marathi. That's starting in a month or so. Right now, Akkalkot Maharaj is going on. So Akkalkot Maharaj, who is an angry Mahatma, his Kundalini is not, his Shakti is under his power. How come? See? So we cannot understand all these. So really speaking, when you go through the various chakras, you have many different experiences, best sadhana is where there is no experience. Where there is no experience. Like that, You lie down in the bed, you think of sleep, you trigger the sleep, it absorbs you, and as a side effect, the world leaves your mind. No problem, no sadhana required. All you have to do is go and lie down. That easy it is for us, for the manifest Shakti to become unmanifest and be available to the Shiva principle. We create the obstacles by our own thinking. We create complications in the journey by our own wrong orientation, by our own wrong thinking, by our own wrong conclusions, notions, fears, attachments. Keep them aside and merely invoke the Shakti with bhav, knowing that we have all these shortcomings. That's why we are invoking her. The moment love fills your heart towards that Devi, tap, 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 all the chakras without any untoward experience will open. She will herself deliver you to your beloved, to her beloved, the Lord Shiva. She will herself. See. But here we are wanting to control, wanting to direct, as if we are smarter than that Shakti. No, I have to open my Mooladhara. I have to focus on the Mooladhara. I have to focus on the Swadhisthana. I have to focus on this. These are all willful. And where there is will, where there is such strong desire, where there is so much effort put artificially, there will be some untoward experiences, which you may be able to handle, which you may not be able to handle. But when we come as a Buddhu, yeah, someone said, Swamiji, one great tabla master, he's in Melbourne, Pandurang Torvi. When any great singer or musician comes, he is asked to play the tabla for them if he is available. And he takes class, he just lives close by, he comes and does Vedic chanting with me. And so one day he was telling me, I said, how much do you charge, man? He says, someone who has not learned, I charge him $10 a class. Someone who has studied playing tabla before, I charge him $20-25. I said, why? Oh, because the new fellow, he is empty. He will learn what I am teaching. And the other fellow, he has already learned. First, I have to put efforts to undo everything he has learned, and then he will be available to me. I said, so that's what has happened when you came to me. I should be charging you more. Because he has learned some chanting somewhere, and see, so we have also invested in our willpower, in our ego, in our efforts, that we are putting the efforts. If you know that you are putting the efforts, put the efforts in the right direction. And when efforts are put with bhav, that she is the totality, she is the total prakriti, she is the totality of name and form, she is the totality of the whole creation. She herself is manifesting as the whole creation. All the 5 elements, the manifest and the unmanifest, everything is she. With that picture in our mind, we chant Durga Saptashati or we chant Lalita Sahasranam. Then see the difference. effortlessly you will abide in Lord Shiva. Meaning you will effortlessly you will glide into meditation, into yourself. She'll deliver you to him. Yeah, I'm just, don't get lost in this language. When I say deliver you to him, means she will take you and leave it at but for what is her disposition with regards to Lord Shiva? That she is not other than Lord Shiva, isn't it? So when I say she delivers you to him, her beloved, Lord Shiva, means when you have her grace, you also be one with the Lord Shiva. She has got no doubt about Lord Shiva. She has got no doubt as to what her position is. See, only the qualified one can come to the Shiva principle. So now when we apply this on ourselves, where is our Shakti? Is our Shakti in our toes, in our feet, in our knees, in our spine, in our Kriya? You know, all the breath, Kriya yogis, they keep moving the breath inside the inside this trunk and then eventually take it up. Is that what the Shakti is? Or is Shakti expressing at the individual level as the mind? Purusha Prakriti, Shiva Shakti. That Purusha Prakriti at individual level also, the Purusha principle, the Atman, the spirit. And what is matter? What is matter? Is matter what all you see, hear, touch, feel, taste, think? And whatever you experience this world as, name, form, sound, taste, smell, etc. How do you know it? Is it existing apart from the mind? Is the Shakti in the anywhere outside? So Shakti is our mind. And that Shakti alone, be attentive, that Shakti alone in the dream state expresses as manifestation and unmanifestation. She alone expresses as the space, air, fire, water, earth, plants, rivers, mountains, oceans, birth, death, past, future, consciousness, matter, everything. Mind alone projects the whole dream world in the dream. Correct or not? Correct or not? Mind alone projects. How do you know it? It is everyone's experience. After they wake up, they know it was just a figment of imagination of the mind. So is true in the waking also. That the whole world of the waking is nothing but our mind manifesting as the whole world. The day you recognize that, story over. This transformational process, instead of seeing the world as separate, instead of seeing the world as a bhogya vastu, instead of seeing the world as a problem, as a challenge, as an obstacle, when you start seeing this world as an expression of your mind. And what is the expression of the world? The expression of the world is waking and dream is the manifest world, and deep sleep is the unmanifest world. This is your total world, not only the waking. All the three put together is your world. So when we look at our mind, which is none other than the Shakti principle, corrupted by giving validity to the various objects, the various aspects of the creation, we are giving it validity, not seeing it as the manifestation of the mind alone, of the Shakti alone. This is where the error is. To fix this error, all these mantras are there. If we take it as separate, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Ahankar will come. You cannot escape from it. The moment you see all this creation is nothing but that one Shakti, immediately all of them vanish. You will be in Samadhi. Because it will be such a wonderful conclusion that, wow, all this is, the mind alone has become like this. How much time do we spend in the dream thoughts after waking up? 0 moment, isn't it? We don't indulge in the dream after waking up. Same way, what was the conclusion? The mind alone projected the dream. That dream, which was nothing but name and form, was just existing in its own absence. Nothing was real. So come back. You are awake. You are awake, and therefore you give 0 value to it. Same way in the waking, through these mantras, we are bringing this picture. We have to, that will only come through bhav. With regards to Devi, intellectualization doesn't work. Only bhav works. And we have to see that this entire world is the expression of our mind. That mind is not other than the infinite mind, infinite Shakti. That Shakti cannot exist, does not exist apart from the Shiva principle. That Shiva principle is the consciousness, pure consciousness. And what is Shakti then? Remember the first part, I'm taking you again. Sometimes I'm coming down, sometimes I'm going up. So when Parama Shiva, as if desired to experience himself, he became aware of his potentiality. And now with reference to his potentiality, he is called as Shiva and Shakti. This is exactly what Vedanta says. When knowing is being or being is knowing, Sat is Chit or Chit is Sat, what ensues? Anand. That Anand is the Shakti. That Anand is the Shakti. So if nature of Shakti itself is that of bliss, Ananda, then everything that she is manifesting as the whole creation must be of the nature of Ananda. And what are we experiencing it as? Tu, main. She said this, he said this, I didn't want to this, I don't want that, I did this, I did that. So many issues. So many issues. All that does is just crystallizes the pure consciousness, it crystallizes the infinite consciousness into individual consciousness. The more differences we maintain, the stronger is the individual consciousness. The more this individual looks at the whole creation as the expression of his potentiality, of the mind, to that extent, the mind will purify. In spite of the names and forms, in spite of the world. Sometimes you'll go into meditation, sometimes you'll be out there in the world. Sometimes closed eye meditation, sometimes open eye meditation. So if when we are chanting Lalita Sahasranam and Durga Saptashati, it's open-eyed. You are chanting the mantras. Each mantra is a trigger. First, we saw her glory in that, whatever the, before Kavacham, what was that chapter? I don't have the book with me. Not Siddha Kunjika, Sapta Shloki. So we saw her glory. Then after seeing her glory, we invoked her protection. After, so that she gives us the right acumen, the right understanding, she graces us, she protects us. Is that not done when we do puja? When a pujari, what does he do? He invokes all the gods in the body, isn't it? Sun, the moon, the Ashwini Kumar, the Dikpalas, the Shiva, in the feet, the Vishnu, in the hands, the Indra. Every part of the body, the entire universe, which is through which these gods are expressing, all those gods are present in this body. But people only go into that without understanding the subtle understanding behind it. And what is the subtle understanding? Baba, we are, you or I, whichever way you put it, I am the source of the whole creation. And I is not other than Shiva. When I is not other than Shiva, then Aham Brahmasmi or Shivoham, Shiva Aham. So that Paramashiva alone is expressing as Shiva and Shakti. That Shakti alone, out of her own inherent bliss, is expressing as the whole creation. That is the manifest bliss. And when it is, the bliss is unmanifest, she merges back into the Lord Shiva. There is no separation between Lord Shiva and Shakti. So if this whole creation which I am exposed to is of the nature of bliss, something is going wrong in my approach. With this understanding, when we approach these, we invoke these mantras, not as a mechanical repetition, not committing them to memory, because you commit to memory. Whole sadhana is to dissolve your memory, and you are creating new memory. Either have this acumen that replace old memory with new memory, but the new memory should be such which does not lead to any trouble afterwards. Then it is okay. Should not lead to any conclusion. Because self is not a conclusion. Shiva is not a conclusion. It is your nature. He is inherent. He is inherent within you. He is you, or you are him, whichever way you put it. As what? Not as the mind, as the conscious principle. Then what is the mind? His Shakti. Then what is the status of all the variety, all the people, all the multiplicity in this world, all the beings? What is the status of all the people in the dream? Zero. The moment you wake up, the entire dream family, dream relations, dream body, dream people, dream aspirations, dream regrets, dream past, dream future, everything becomes zero. if you are ready to wake up from this waking dream by the grace of Shakti, this is what will happen. Then this waking space, air, fire, water, earth, gods, past, future, birth, death, relations, possessions, everything will become zero. Are we ready? Are we ready for that bargain? Don't answer. Just ask yourself in your heart. Because we will lose everything. When we are not ready to lose and we keep invoking the Shakti, then unwanted experiences come. So in this manner, after this chapter, I think that labhate paramam rupam shivena saha modate. I think after that, that thing comes, no? Jayam dehi, rupam dehi, jayam dehi, yasho dehi, disho dehi. So keep giving me that form, and that because of that form because of that Lord Shiva, the Devi is able to express as everything. By herself, she cannot do anything. Remember that. Devi by herself cannot do anything. She only does something when Shiva's attention is on her. When he gives attention, she becomes activated. Because Mataji called me, I got activated. Because I'm listening, you get activated in that sense.
But I don't agree with that aspect of it.
Which aspect?
Because when the gods approach Devi in the Shisha, Devi Shisha, they ask her, "Who are you?" Listen here. One moment. Ek minute. Which page is this?
Brahma Swarupini.
That's what I was trying to say. I just want to go to the page. Can't find it.
If she says Aham Brahma Swarupini, that same language even our Upanishads are speaking.
Yeah.
Same language our Upanishads are speaking.
Absolutely.
So, but you have to understand the position that everything, there is nothing. So there is no separation. Correct. There is no separation. There is no separation. Then why are we talking about it?
There is no question of that Shakti has to take one to Paramashiva. Shakti herself is Brahma Swarupini. Because when the gods are Aham Brahma Swarupini, Ekam Eva, even in the Devi Mahatmyam itself, she herself says, Eka Eva Aham Brahma.
Okay.
So there is no question of, so which means abide in that Adi Shakti. You don't need to worry about Shiva. Paramashiva, Paramashakti. Ekam Eva Advitiya. That's what she says. Ekam Eva Advitiya. Ekam Eva Aham Jagatyatra.
Frankly,
Advitiya. There's no two. There's none other than that one. Advitiya.
To tell you the truth, from that angle, I have not explored yet.
So it is Devi abidance.
So from that angle, I have not explored. I'm telling you only from what I have explored, what I have understood. If that angle is, if it is valid, and it should be valid if you are saying it, but I'll have to explore it. I have not looked at it from that point, which maybe next time. Yeah. So that's it. Hari Om.
Unmute, please. Sundarji, we can't hear you.
Only 10.
When you're looking at Randy Devi as somebody different to Shiva, then we are really looking at differentiation. So when he says Devi, or when you say Devi, or when you say Shiva,
both are one. Both are Brahman.
Angle of the top level.
Yeah.
Whatever Devi constitutes the top, which is pure consciousness, or whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely. Brahman.